Simple linear regression. Let me first give you an introduction of the regression analysis. Regression analysis is a statistical technique that is widely used in various fields to examine the relationship between a dependent variable and one or more independent variables. The main objective of regression analysis is to identify and quantify the relationship between the dependent variable and the independent variables. This relationship is represented by an equation that describes how changes in the independent variables affect the dependent variable. Regression analysis allows us to make predictions and draw conclusions about the relationship. There are several types of regression analysis, but the most commonly used is simple linear regression. In simple linear regression, there is only one independent variable and the relationship between the dependent variable and the independent variable is assumed to be linear. Then what is the dependent variable? The variable we wish to predict or explain. Independent variable? The variable used to predict or explain the dependent variable. The relationship between x and y is described by a linear function. Changes in y are assumed to be related to changes in x. In the picture, you see a relationship between y and x. It is a linear relationship. Y is the dependent variable and independent variable is x. Always we use y-axis for the dependent variable and x-axis for the independent variable. Let me explain this concept using an example. Here we have 4 points. Then let me plot these points in a xy coordinate system. Here dependent variable is house price and independent variable is square feet, because house price depends on the square feet of the house or size of the house. Now let me plot these points on this coordinate system. Now you see the scatter plot for this example. Then what is the next step for the regression line? We can draw a line that go through these points. How many lines we can draw for this case? Maybe like this. Maybe this one. That. Yes, we can draw infinitely many lines. But we need to find the best line. How do we find the best line? The best line is called the regression line. I will explain in my next video how to find the best line using some techniques. Now, let me explain why do we use this line. We have house price versus square feet. What is the maximum square feet we have in this graph? It is 2400 and we know the house price for this house. Suppose this graph is available for you and you are going to purchase a house with 4000 square feet. Now you need to estimate the house price you are going to purchase. How do we find the estimation of the house with 4000 square feet? What we do here, we have line up to 2400 square feet, then we extend this line up to 4000 square feet and then we find the corresponding y value. So regression line can be used to predict